Thanks, Dave. Coach, a year ago we talked about Tanner Price, and you said it's so hard to ask a freshman to lead your team, but the scales have really tipped for him this year.
Well, I think a little bit of experience. We knew we had a great kid. You know, last year I didn't think Tanner played as bad as a supporting cast. We got his receivers are helping him a little bit. We're protecting him a little better. He's a great kid.
You're going for your 100th win today. What's going to be the difference maker in this ball game in terms of the outcome?
Well, probably having to go against Frank Beamer's team. You know, this is always one of the best coach teams we play, one of the more talented teams. So it's going to be a tough job for us tonight, but I think our kids will play hard.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate your time. And, Dave, for what it's worth, Frank Beamer did vote for Coach Grove to be the midterm Coach of the Year. Whatever that means, he voted for him. Back up to you.
Angela, that is very interesting.
I was just listening to the huddle, and it was Steve Labotsky talking to his offensive line saying there's two things I want you to pay attention to. That's cadence and take care of the football. Cadence, take care of the football. Back up to you, Dave.
All right, Angela, thank you. Let's send it down to Angela for an injury update.
Thanks, Dave. You're going to want to keep an eye out for Garrick Williams, number 74, the center for Wake Forest. He came out the first series with a tweaked right ankle. They taped it this last series. They put 3 rounds of tape on the outside of his shoe. Also, number 80, Andrew Parker, the tight end. He is out until the half. He also has a right ankle injury that they will look at during halftime, Dave.
We got an injury update from Angela. What's up?
Right, Dave. Cornerback Jerron Hosley went out with a hamstring injury, and he will not return. Also, the punter for Virginia Tech, Michael Branover, it's his birthday. He's 19 years old today.
Yikes. Blitz coming. Price incomplete.
After Ellington scored on that long run, he came back to the bench and hugged every single one of his offensive linemen. Then Robbie Codwell came over and said, "Now, guys, that's how you play football." Back up to you, Joe. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium. It's halftime. We're tied 21 apiece, Clemson and Wofford. We have a special halftime guest joining us, Brad Brownell, Clemson basketball head coach. Thanks for sharing some time with us.
My pleasure, Angela.
Now, there's a lot of youth on this Clemson football team. I understand you've got a lot of youth coming on your team this year. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we do. We have 5 freshmen, and we need some of those guys to play like Sammy Watkins is playing out here. TJ Sapp, Bernard Sullivan, KJ McDaniel, Devin Coleman, and Rod Hall. We've got 5 new guys, several perimeter players. Bernard's our only post player, and we'll need 3 or 4 of those guys to play significant minutes and contribute well for us to have a good year.
Let's talk schedule a little bit. You've got Arizona, Iowa, and South Carolina all within your first 10 games.
Yeah, we want to upgrade the schedule, and Sean Miller's a friend of mine, and so he and I got together in the off-season, and it's really hard to get other BCS schools to play home-and-home series, and he and I talked about doing something in early December. We think it's great. We're going to go out there this year. They're going to come back to Clemson next year. Be a tremendous game for experience for our young players, and then to have them come back to Little John next year will be a lot of fun for our fans.
Now, last year, I understand you ran down the hill with Dabo Swinney. Is it really as nerve-wracking as everybody says?
It really is, because every time you talk to somebody right before you do it, they say, don't fall. Nobody says you'll be fine, do a great job. They just say, hey, don't fall and embarrass yourself. But it was a lot of fun. Coach Leggett, the baseball coach, and I ran down with Dabo last year for the first game of the season. It was kind of my welcoming to Clemson.
Well, what's more scary, running down that hill or knowing that you have to face Duke and North Carolina?
They're both equally challenging. Believe me, I'm not very athletic, so the hill can be difficult. But Duke and Carolina, obviously, both are going to have great seasons. They got 2 of the better coaches in college basketball, and it's just fun to be in a league with those guys.
Well, good luck to you and the Clemson Tigers this year. We're tied at halftime, 21 apiece. Clemson and Wofford. We'll be back after the break. It's halftime at Death Valley, Clemson versus Wofford. Recently, we had a chance to catch up with former Clemson All-American Jim Stuckey at one of his favorite places since retirement, Cacique Golf Course on Kiowa Island. Well, Jim, it's the 30th anniversary of Clemson's national championship team. While you graduated a year prior, you still have to feel like you were a part of that team's success.
Oh, absolutely, Angela. It was great. A lot of those guys that played on the 81 team were freshmen and sophomores. When I was a junior and senior, and we had some good teams that brought Clemson's program back around, I'd like to think through our work ethic and how we developed a winning program that it just carried on, and those guys won the ultimate. They won the national championship.
Well, you had a great career at Clemson, an All-American and a first-round draft pick to the 49ers. What were those Super Bowls like in that time of your life?
Oh my gosh, it was everything that I'd ever wanted to do since I was 8 years old, to be a Super Bowl champion. And then coming from Clemson and playing with two other guys, Archie Reese and Dwight Clark, who played with me in San Francisco, and we were able to win the two championships when I was there for 7 years, the 1981 and 1984 World Championship.
Well, South Carolina was good to you. You're good to South Carolina. What has retirement been like here at Kiowa Island?
Well, retirement now is I'm selling real estate here at Kiowa Island and have been for the last 19 years for Kiowa Island Real Estate. It's great. Lived on the West Coast for about close to 10 years. Said I'm coming back to South Carolina, and this has been great living here in Charleston and being down here at Kiowa.
Now, what do you think about this year's Tigers and what Dabo Swinney has done with these guys?
I think we've got some great skill positions. I love the process and the policies that Dabo has instilled here with the players and the fans. And I look for big things from the Clemson Tigers and Dabo Swinney and his staff.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of our Where Are They Now piece. Okay. You guys stay tuned. We'll be back right after the break.